What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Joe Kilgallon podcast, aka Kilgallon's Pub. I'm your host, stand-up comedian extraordinaire, Joseph Matthew Kilgallon. Got the full fucking name this week. That's what you just got. It is a Monday evening. You'll be listening to this, hopefully, as it comes out Tuesday, January 10th. Oh my God, we're already 10 days into January. Where has the time gone? It's gone 10 days. That's where it's fucking gone. That's an annoying thing, right? When people start, let me reel back a little bit, Joe. Let's step back. Let's slow it down. I can understand, like, when it hits February 1st and someone goes, shit, already February? That I get, because the year is still it's just begun. But every now and then, you'll run across someone who'll be like, could you believe it's June already? I'm like, yes, motherfucker, I can believe it's June already. I've been paying attention. What have you been doing? Have you not noticed? Fucking days are going by. Pull your head out of your ass and live your life. Let's pay attention to what's going on around us, huh? What did the great philosopher Ferris Bueller once say? Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. John Hughes wrote that. Ferris Bueller delivered it through actor Matthew Broderick. All right, I like to start off every podcast with some gratitude. So big shout out to all of the Patreon subscribers. You all are amazing. Bonus episode coming your way. Actually, it should be out by the time you listen to this. Also, everyone who subscribes to YouTube, TikTok, over 51,000 subscribers on TikTok now, or followers, whatever the fuck you call them. Good to see. YouTube, I said that already. Twitter, although that site. Instagram. I realized I've been slacking on Instagram, so maybe I got to start to push some more eggs in the Instagram basket. We will see. I do have some exciting news to announce. We're working on the end credits for my special that was filmed back October 1st at the Gutter in Brooklyn, and it's coming together. I'm very, very excited for everyone to see this thing. It is all coming together. I don't have a date for you. I really don't. I wish part of me could pull a trigger and just be like, it's going to be this date, but I want to see, I don't know. I without giving away too much, I definitely don't. I could just throw it on YouTube, which is the thing that a lot of people have been doing now. But I want to see if I could get any bites from a platform, which I should, but the industry is very weird these days, the way they do things now. Someone told me Netflix won't even look at you unless you have X amount of followers and can sell X amount of tickets. So, which is a little weird on Netflix's part. If I were an executive on Netflix, I'd be like, why are we doing that? Oh, because we want their audience to watch Netflix. Okay. But wouldn't it be cooler if we discovered people? That'd be kind of cool too, because then we could get people in the Netflix family. Right? We find some up and coming comedians. We watch their content, say, this shit's great. We're going to put it out there. And then we work with that person. We develop a relationship. Maybe they develop a couple projects, movies, TV shows, further specials come around. And then they could be like, this is a legit Netflix original, someone we found, discovered, and gave them their first shot. But instead, it's kind of like, oh, you already have a few 100,000, even 1 million or so followers. You're already kicking ass. We're going to slap that N next to your face and cash in that way. I don't know. It's a weird business. And I'll admit, I've never been good on the business side of stand-up comedy. I just have not. I don't have that. I like business in the sense that when I go into a business, I look around, I'm like, how would I make this bar better? I'd get rid of that. I'd get rid, I could, I'll have it this day. I'll have it that night. If I, when I go into different businesses, I look to myself, how would I improve them? That's where I'm good. I'm like a fixer. That's where my skill comes in there. But as far as like myself pushing my brand as a stand-up comedian and shaking hands and kissing babies, that side of the industry, not really into. I've never been very good at that. I'm good in the room in the sense that when the show's over and I'm hanging out with the crowd, that's my element. But because I'm not bullshitting anybody. I always feel like when you're hanging around a lot of industry, even though I don't do it, I don't bullshit people. I feel like they've come accustomed to people kissing their ass. They lie in the grass waiting for it. They expect it. And there's just this weird, it's just so unrelaxing. There's parts of it where it's just like, no one tells you who the fuck they are either. I've caught myself in embarrassing situations because I thought I was talking to just a person. Like, oh, this is someone introduced me to you. You're just a cool person, huh? And then I start talking about something. And then later they're like, yeah, I know all about that. I work for so-and-so and I'm an agent over here. And you're like, all right, cool. I didn't know that. because you weren't introduced that way. You're introduced as a friend of a friend who used to work at this bar that I used to go to, and now that's how we're talking. It's like shit like that. And so now I made an ass of myself explaining to you, like, this happened to me. There was a manager who I didn't know she was a manager because someone told me, oh, she used to live in Chicago. She worked at that bar. I'm like, oh, yeah, I love that bar. Hi, how are you? Just started talking to her. And then I mentioned Just for Laughs Festival, which everyone calls JFL for short. And I said, JFL, it stands for Just for Laughs. And then people were like, yeah, she fucking knows, dummy. And I'm like, well, regular people might not know that. The average person might know, like, she works in the industry. I'm like, well, I didn't know. She doesn't wearing a fucking name tag that says her job title. That's like shit like that I just couldn't stand. Because everything's fun until that point. And it's a bother. It's a real bother. I'm like all frozen now. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. I filmed this as well and the camera froze up on me. So it was annoying. But anyway, the special looks great. Sounds great. I really love the content of this one. It's a different side of me. It's still very much me. Don't get me wrong. It's still Joe, but there's a different side of me that you're going to see. So I really feel like I get more personal than I've ever had before in anything else. So I really hope you guys watch it on whatever platform it comes out on. So there you go. All right, moving on to some other fun stuff. I am currently in day, what is this? The ninth? Ninth's almost over with. I'm 9 days into dry January. First time in my life I've ever not had alcohol. I'm going to attempt to not have alcohol for an entire month. And son of a bitch, I didn't realize it was a 31-day month. That was a mistake in retrospect. But it was, I used to rail against this because I used to say to people back when Joe Rogan and those guys were doing Sober October, and then that kind of spread around. I met a lot of people like, oh, I'm doing Sober October. And I'm like, is it because it rhymes? Why October of all the months to not drink? That never made sense to me because October is a great month to drink. It's like the last month of good weather in a lot of cities around the world in the Northern Hemisphere, right? And fall has like a crispness in the air. It's real crisp. There's the leaves changing and shit. You could rock jeans and a hoodie, which is what I'm wearing right now because it was 45 degrees today in Chicago, which felt very balmy. I rolled down my windows. And, and plus you got football in full swing. Basketball and hockey are just getting going. Baseball's playoffs are rocking. You got Premier League soccer going. So like the 5 big sports right there, those are my 5 favorites are all like, they're running, college football, college basketball is just beginning. So if you're a sports fan, a lot going on right there. It's also your last month to drink on patios. So good day drinking month. There's a lot to like about it. So and Halloween ends that month. So I never understood the idea of like, let's take these 31 days off and I never understood the fact that like, you don't have to be married to your calendar. If you want, you could say, you know what? I'm not going to drink from February 3rd to March 3rd. Like it doesn't have to be the whole month, but I understand why people do it. So cut the bullshit. I'll get to right to where I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing Sober January. Now I was exercising pretty well. I was going to the gym starting in mid-October through first week of December. I was going 3-4 times a week. I was doing good. Only lost a couple pounds. But I was seeing some results, and then the wife got COVID, which sucked. I'm actually just getting over something. I thought I had strep throat because my son had it, but thankfully I didn't. But I've been feeling a lot better today, but over the weekend was bad to cancel on a show. I was real bummed about that. Anyway, though, so I decided after the wife got COVID, then that following week was my kid's last week of school before Christmas break started. And I had to go Christmas shopping. So I lost my chance to go to the gym. So I took like pretty much the whole month of December off from going to the gym. And it's Christmas time, New Year's, the holidays. I went hard. For you Patreon subscribers, the last bonus episode of Patreon, I told you all about my latest hangover. And that was not fun. I mean, the night of drinking was a blast, but the next morning was harsh. And so I remember I thought to myself, this was like on December 29th or 30th. I'm like, dude, you've been eating like a pig. You've been drinking like a fish. It's maybe pump the brakes. And then I saw someone make a post about how they're doing a dry January. And I thought, you know what? I looked at my January and I'm like, I'm not slam packed with shows. Got some good ones. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like December, I was very busy. and November was pretty busy. No, not December was busy. And so then I was like, this would be a good month, right? Sober up, reset, take the 30 days off, come back in February. Super Bowl is usually right around the first weekend of February. So it's the second weekend this year, I think. And then get after it that way. I could get some more shit done, you know? So I was like, all right, this is gonna be great. And I am 9 days in. I'm bored out of my fucking skull. I am 9 days into sober January and I am bored out of my fucking skull. Here's the thing. I got real stressed out a couple days ago and I was like, I got to get the fuck out of the house. And look, big family man, but you need a day where it's like just by yourself, right? You have Christmas break, right? I was with everybody all the time and I'm sure they felt that way too. They're probably like, I'm going to be around this cycle all the time. Let's get some break, you know? Let's push it away a little bit here. And so you don't know what to do. What am I going to go to a coffee shop? Hang out at a coffee shop like at night? Like I'm talking about evening. I need to get out of the house at night. And without drinking, I can't imagine I could go to a bar and just drink Diet Cokes. It's too tempting. You run into an old friend, like, hey, you want to do a shot? You're like, I'm doing a sober January. I'm like, fuck you, sober January. Why? Were you an alcoholic? I'm like, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I just wanted 31 days off, reset the old liver. Oh, come on. You only live once. I haven't seen you in a while. I'll do a shot. It's like this much alcohol. Come on, you can do a shot. And you're like, fine, I'll do a fucking shot. And one shot turns into 6. And before you know it, you're headbutting TVs. Like, you don't want to live that life. So that's why it's good to have the reset. But man, is it boring. There's only so many options to go out without alcohol being present. I've never thought of myself as like an alcoholic, but I'm definitely someone who really enjoys booze. I don't need it. I don't have like a shaky hand thing going on, but I definitely feel like it's such a social thing. That's why I've always been a big fan of bars and pubs, this social atmosphere. It's like this gathering of people who are looking to have a good time or drink some pain away. But for the most part, most people go into a bar or pub looking to, let loose a little bit, take the edge off. And that's why I've always been attracted to them. I remember being a kid thinking every time I drove by a bar, I would look, you're driving the car with your family, you look out the window and you'd see like a shamrock glowing in the window with the Miller Lite sign. And I'm like, that looks fun. I was like 8 going, that looks like, what are they doing? They're shooting pool in there. I want to play pool. You know what I know is a pool table. Bars have pool tables. Like, it's just everything about the bar scene just screamed out to me like, this is where you belong, Joseph. And I worked at bars and I still do as a comedian. Obviously, a lot of shows are at bars, but doing it the sober way, man, it scares me because I thought to myself, what if I really was an alcoholic and I had a problem? It would take me a long time to adjust. So this my heart goes out to, or tip of the hat, I should say, tip of the hat to anyone who is a recovering alcoholic and can still go into bars and not be tempted and have a good time. That's amazing, because I'm 10 days into being sober and I'm just doing it for a month. I'm getting back on that horse come February 1st, baby. It might be January 31st at 12:01 a.m. and I'm going to be throwing back some pints, but like, holy shit. My mad respect, a lot of respect for people who could pull that off. Now it's different. I was hanging out with a friend of mine last week, playing some poker, and he never drank. So, he obviously could go to bars and be social. It's a different thing. He was never immersed in that culture. So there's nothing for him to miss. Completely different. Which reminds me, actually, there was a fun question that was brought up at poker. The fun question that was brought up at poker was this. My man, I'll say his name. He probably doesn't care. Shout out to Jeff Steinbrunner. Here was the fun question that he asked the whole poker table. There's 3 things. You have to eliminate one of them and people won't miss it. So it's not like you're eliminating something that they're going to miss. They just don't even know it existed. And of the 3 things, it's gambling, drinking alcohol, or porn. I hesitated because I know if I say the word porn, I can't post this on TikTok now. Son of a bitch. Anyhow, I'll have to bleep that, I guess. And so I thought about it. I'm like, which would I eliminate of those 3? And I chose porn. And some people at the table are like, and look, I'm pro porn. I like it. But of those 3 things, I like drinking too much. Like I said before, there's like a camaraderie about it. Like your team won, you clank drinks. You're like, we fucking did it, right? You toast with one. There's a social aspect to it I love. Gambling, I didn't want to get rid of because even though gambling does destroy some lives, I asked him, I go, would lottery tickets be part of it? He goes, yeah, lottery's gambling. I go, see, like there's little things like that people, if you eliminate gambling, you're essentially eliminating luck in a lot of ways. And I like the idea that people are like, or people get lucky. I was somewhere once where someone won a huge raffle, like a 50-50 raffle for a few grand, and they almost went to tears because they really needed a few grand. I'm like, that's amazing. I don't want to eliminate that kind of hope. There's hope that goes along with gambling. So right there, I'm like, not eliminating that. Porn, I thought, you know what? I still have my imagination. You know, you'll find another way, right? Porn wasn't as easily accessible when I was in high school, and trust me, I was still taking care of me. I just had to use my imagination, right? You find, I don't know, Girls Gone Wild commercials are still a thing, but you find like some, an episode of Friends when clearly the studio air conditioning was on a little too high. There's just a lot there, right? There's JCPenney catalog. I mean, I'm trying to think of some Victoria's Secret, right? I mean, that's not porn, so that'd still be around. You'd still have Instagram models. There's still enough to get the brain going, but no, I couldn't. I couldn't eliminate alcohol or gambling. Other people were happy to eliminate alcohol, and I was just like, I don't know about that one. And then they said, well, the people want to miss, and you'd find something else. I'm like, well, the whole idea is you want to miss any of these things, but I really think alcohol and gambling I rank ahead of porn. Speaking of porn, speaking of corn, I have to say, so TikTok doesn't take this down if I post this clip on TikTok. Lana Rhodes was on a podcast in which she talked about how she regrets ever doing the thing that everyone knows her for. That thing, right? And it's not uncommon. There's been other actresses in that genre of acting who have said similar things. But like part of me is like, a little sad to hear that in a way, because you want to believe that people are doing things because that's what they love to do. And why not get paid to do what you love? You'll never work a day if you get paid to do what you love. Although I've watched some of her videos and that looked like work. But anyway, and she said she didn't even like sex that much. She considered herself asexual. And the person on the other that was interviewing her on the podcast was like, oh, that just broke a lot of people's hearts. And it's like, yeah, they kind of bummed me out a little bit because I'm like, man, I thought I like to think people love what they do, especially when you get that famous in your field. Like she was right up there, right? She's probably ranked in the top 3 in every search and all that stuff. She was one of the most famous actresses in that genre. But she made good points about like how they really prey on these women. And that part of it's like sucks. That really sucks. You know what I mean? And it's a field in which apparently she was explaining some stuff. There were dudes and people behind the camera making more. I always thought that was one of the few fields in which the women got paid more. And they should. Oh my, who the hell cares about the dude? I mean, some people do, obviously, but like the majority of people who are going on these sites, they're going for the ladies. They should be getting paid way more. And that made me so sad. I was like, oh man, I thought at least that was the one thing that they should be. Because it's the way our standards are in society. If you're a dude actor in that world, everyone's like, yeah, man, dude, can you blame them? If I was swinging that thing, I'd be on camera too, right? That's how everyone's mindset is towards it. But the female side of it, a lot of people think, how bad was her childhood, right? There's a lot of assumptions there and everything. So, I'm happy she's coming out and speaking her truth about it and telling people how she feels and whatnot. And maybe she'll expose the industry to the point where the pay gets better and it's more fair and all that kind of stuff. I'd hope that they got to get unionized. They really should unionize. That'd be a lot better for that industry because damn, man, it's what happens when they're like, in that world, most of the ones who do the MILF videos, they're like 31. In that world, 31, they're like, yeah, you're getting old, sweetheart. And it's like 31 is not old. It's not. And that's a tough business all around, I'll tell you. So But yeah, so good for her for spreading that out. I don't know if she's going to do a book or she's going to be on other stuff, but I'm seeing her on some podcasts. Maybe I could click so you guys could hear. Hold on.
That I did porn. Smart people learn from other people's mistakes. Fools learn from their own. Those videos make me want to throw up. It sounds like there's a brighter light that could be shined on this industry, and one, from a compensation standpoint, and two, a lot of people are being taken advantage of. So many friends and girlfriends who thought porn was a good idea, and they don't end up with the same outcome as me. They end up with a bunch of videos of them getting fucked on the internet for their family to see. They make no money, and it's over for them. For reference, at the time I was one of the most popular girls getting booked the most. I was getting $1,200 a scene. I was getting $15,000 to post a picture on Instagram. Which is crazy because you're shooting a full sex scene. He's taking a picture and you're getting paid 10% of what he would. I don't even like having sex. Honestly, I'm pretty much asexual. It's not like there's like a change after doing porn.
Okay, so that you heard what you heard, and of course my phone starts to ring there. Yeah, that's Lana Rhodes, super famous. It's crazy. It's that pay discrepancy is ridiculous. Tell me they don't need to unionize. They need something, because I think way too many people are getting preyed on, taken advantage of. She mentioned that there are a lot of girls who end up doing some videos for their parents or family to see. And I'm thinking, man, would your family find out? And I go, yeah, but probably. But you know what's crazy though? Like, you see so many videos. There's so many videos out there of, corn actresses. And you'd think by at one point I'd be like, I know her. Holy shit. You know what I mean? But the world's huge. There's 7 billion people out there. So maybe, and obviously she's trying to make a point that, like, you end up with no money and those videos are there forever. That's, I think, her point. And she's probably trying to reach out to anyone who's younger and that might be leaning into going into that world, that she's probably telling them it's not worth it. But then again, maybe there are people out there who really, that's what they want. I don't know. I don't want to live in a world where everyone who does that job was duped into it and has major emotional problems. But then again, wouldn't surprise you, right? Wouldn't surprise, because it's so not the norm. You know what I mean? I've never heard of anyone being like, how old are you? 12. What do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be top 5 searched. Like, you don't want to be, I want to be part of the gangbang. Like, no one says that. You go into it and then it happens, I think. I don't know. And it can't all be like, I went out to LA to be an actress and I couldn't get any roles. And then I took one job as that because I was desperate. And before I knew it, this is my career. I don't know. I always thought it was, obviously I'm doing a lot of backtracking here, it feels like, but I always wanted to believe that, because, you don't want anyone to feel like they're a victim or whatever, that there was enough of the actresses out there who are like, no, I love this and this is liberating and I got the power in this. But apparently with that pay, they don't. So I'm gonna follow her career now. I'm gonna really see what else she has to say. I feel like a book's coming. We'll pay attention to that. We'll take a look at what's going on in her career. Lana Rhodes. I know she was dating some dude who was friends with Jake Paul, because every now and then I'd come across videos with her, with the whole Jake Paul crew, or Logan Paul, one of the Pauls. I don't understand. One of those towheads. What do they call them? Towheads. Blonde people are called towheads, right? What's the back story for that? Let's find out, huh? Okay, Google this very fast and be entertaining for a podcast. Let's see. TOE. Hopefully it's going to, watch, with my luck, it's going to have some horrible meaning and people are going to be like, you need to delete this episode. Towhead meaning. What do we got? Towhead should be towhead, T-O-W head. This is a U.S. phrase, and the reference to is tow, which is the light-colored fiber of flax, hemp, or jute. Towhead is having tousled blonde hair. That's what a towhead is. Okay, but really it should be T-O-W head, not T-O-E head. All right. Well, I always thought it was like a toe. All right. Well, there you go. And then Urban Dictionary is to suck on someone's toe. Like to give towhead. Fuck off. That's so dumb. No, I mean, hey, if you're into sucking feet, you're into sucking feet. But clearly it's just, it didn't need to be an Urban Dictionary. You'd think they'd come up with a better name of it. Girl, you want to give me some towhead? What is that? What it sounds like? Yeah, I want you to go down on my big toe. If you were into feet stuff. Would the big toe be your favorite? Because it's such a powerful toe, the big toe. It dominates the foot, the big toe. You know, it's clearly, I know this was a Seinfeld episode where they talk about the big toe being the captain, but when you take a look at your foot, that big toe is just, it's the behemoth. It's massive compared to the other toes. The other toes are obviously, there's a height discrepancy, but they all have the same thickness, the same width. But the big toe, not only is it the tallest, but it's also by far the widest. It's the toe that keeps all, it's just a big motherfucker. You know, I like to think of it as a nice guy though, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like, don't upset the big toe. You know, if the ring toe and the, you know, pinky toe were fucking around, that big toe would just look at it being like, I'm trying to get some sleep over here. And they'd be like, well, I'm so sorry. But then that big toe breaks and it's just that the rest of the foot's got to be like, oh, you fucking pussy. You just ruined our walking for us now. You're broken. We're fine. But now we have to all walk weirdly. Toes are weird. I don't get the foot fetish thing. I'm sorry. But again, not judging. Whatever you're into, as long as you're not hurting people, as long as there's consent, then I support it. Get into those piggies. You know what I mean? Now, if you're into toes, do you do this little piggy into the market thing? Is that foreplay for you? Do you grab that foot and start talking to them? Start wiggling those toes around, right? What if you're into feet, but the person whose feet you love the most, like, oh, those are the hottest feet I've ever seen. They're super ticklish. And every time you go to touch them, they're like reactions to just jack you in the mouth with their foot. That'd be sad, actually, because it's like, that's the most beautiful foot you've ever seen, but you can't get close to it. It's almost like Rogue and Gambit's relationship in X-Men. Just brutal, you know, because they belong together. There's a chemistry that's undeniable. You feel that heat. I remember watching the X-Men animated series when I was like 8 years old, being like, man, those two need to bang already, right? But they couldn't. I don't know how Gambit never said, like, I will wear I'll just take my peep out, I'll wrap it, I'll double layer it, okay? And I put it in. It'll be fine. Hands behind my back, right? Like, why can't we make that happen? But she was too much like, man, because Rogue's power, she absorbs power. If you guys aren't followers of the X-Men. And so if she touches anyone, she absorbs their power by touch. That's why she can never kiss anyone. It's a real tragic power. I mean, it's badass because she could really wreck people. You know, she touches anyone, they're out. But she can't kiss anybody because of that. She can't. I mean, she's just straight up masturbating. Oh, she must masturbate the most. Rogue from X-Men has to masturbate by far more than anyone who's ever masturbated. Because she can't get any kind of other touch. I still, if I was Gambit, would be like, come on, I'd heal. But man, imagine getting your power absorbed through your dick. Ooh, what a way to go. What a way to die. You know? For Rogue, is Rogue hot enough to die like that? Maybe. She is pretty good looking. Something to think about. All right. That has been the episode for this week for the Joe Kilgallon podcast, aka Kilgallon's Pub. I will keep you updated on Dry January throughout. Bonus episode of the Patreon is now available as well. So if you want to subscribe to the Patreon, get on board. It'll really be helping me out, supporting the podcast. It goes a long way. It really does. What else can I tell you guys? Got some fun shows coming up. So definitely check out, follow me on social media. I'll be keeping those updated. I'm working on some road dates coming up. Minnesota, working on that right now. So I'll have some news on that soon. And where else? I'll keep you up. I'll keep you posted. It's going to be great. Special's going to be done soon. So hopefully we'll have a timeline in which you'll be able to see that. And yeah, man, let's kick some dicks in 2023. All right. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening to the Joe Kilgallon podcast.